In this video, I'm going to explain how to play Haru no Ogawa on the shakuhachi. Hi, I'm Marcus and I play the shakuhachi. So today let's look at how to play Haru no Ogawa. This is a Japanese children's song and the name means small river in spring. It's about the same level of difficulty as Hi no Maru no Hata, for which I made a tutorial a few weeks ago, but it's a bit longer, so it's good for building up some stamina. And it goes up to kan no tsu, so this is one note higher. On a side note, when I made the play-along version for the song, I thought the pronunciation was Kogawa instead of Ogawa, but I think Ogawa is correct, so I changed the play-along video as well, the description for the video. So if you've already seen that one, the name is now a bit different. Anyway, it's the same song. As the song is similar to Hi no Maru no Hata, I'm assuming you know the same things I mentioned there. You can make a sound on the shakuhachi, you can play the basic notes up to kan no tsu, so one note higher. And it helps if you can read basic notation, meaning you can read the symbols for the notes and the rhythm, but I think it's possible to follow along here even without that. If you're unsure about any of these, maybe it's a good idea to watch the tutorial for Hi no Maru first, or to look at one of my other videos. I'll put down a few links up here in the description, or down there, up here, or down there in the description. You will be able to find them. Okay. This piece, so Haru no Ogawa, also has a very even rhythm. It consists of 4 parts and the rhythm is the same in all parts. All notes have the same length except for the last note in each part, which has doubled the length. Okay, so let me start by playing the beginning of this piece. Okay, so this was the start of the second block, and as you can hear, there is one note twice the length, double the length, than all the other notes. Okay, this is where one block ends and the next one starts. The piece starts with chi, ri, ro, and of course, here again the ri, ro rule applies. This is so difficult to say for me. Ri, ro rule. The ro is in kan, so you go up from ri, not down to otsu. Okay, so you play not. So the start of the song is. If you find it difficult to play kan no ro, you can crack open the 4th hole a bit. So. Okay, this does not affect the pitch and it reduces a bit the pressure inside the tube. It's easier to play the note this way. A few notes down from this, we do have the symbol for kan for the first time. The ri, ro rule does not apply here because after the ri we play tsu. So the change to the higher octave has to be indicated explicitly. Yeah, here we play. There is not really a trick for playing kan no tsu, but if you're really struggling, you can open the 5th hole ever so slightly. However, be aware that this does change the pitch, okay? So you only can open it a tiny amount. If I open this too much, you will also hear that the note gets very unstable. So generally speaking, this opening of the 5th hole to make a tone easier to play is not really recommended, but this probably is addressing mostly beginners. Okay, so if you're really struggling, you can help along by opening the 5th hole a tiny bit, but please don't make it a habit, okay? Actually, on a side note, if you're interested in personal stuff, as people sometimes are on these platforms, this jump from ri to kan no tsu is still tricky for me. I'm not really sure why, but even after all these years playing this, it's probably the most difficult transition between notes for me. So if you're struggling, you have company, just practice, okay? This piece has a few jumps. We already had one from Re to Kan no Tsu, which is a jump of 2 notes, yeah. But please also take care with the jumps from Chi to Tsu, yeah, jumps down. These are much easier to play, but you will still notice that you need to adjust, and you need to adjust more than when you go from Chi to Re, for example. So this is basically just closing the hole, but if you go to Tsu, you probably will notice that you need to adjust your breath a bit, or even the size of the embouchure a bit, to keep a stable tone. So as I already said before, at the end of each block, the note has double the length, the last note of each block. Okay, so let me play the start of the piece one more time. Okay, so here I did the human metronome so you could follow along with the beats. The second block that I also played just now is very similar to the first one. You will see that for some obscure reason that I don't know myself, I wrote the sign for Kan on the left-hand side here, not on the right-hand side. This does not make any difference at all. Okay, so generally for Kinko notation, where you write these annotations like Otsu, Kan, or maybe a Meri annotation, something like that, it does not matter if it's on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. But the dots matter, the rhythmic dots, okay, if they're on the right-hand side or on the left-hand side. This makes a difference. And this is really almost all there is to say about this piece. Yeah, all 4 blocks are very similar. Maybe it's good to point out that in the third block, there is a Ri, Ro, Tsu. So here there is no mark for Kan next to the Tsu, because from Ri to Ro, we already move into Kan. So we change the octave here. And then the first rule of notation,
first rule of Fight Club,
applies: stay within the same octave. So we go from Re to Ro. With this we change from Otsu to Kan. The Ro already is in Kan. Now there is no indication in the score, and this means we just stay in the same octave. If you'd like to have the score I'm using here, you can go to my Patreon page. If you subscribe there for free, you will get access to the sheet and some other free goodies. I made a video, which I already mentioned, where I play this piece. I called them play-alongs, practice pieces, play-along, I think, something like that. And that also shows the notation and the fingerings along on the side. You may find that very useful for practicing, and many of my students use this for practicing. And one of the benefits is that you actually hear somebody play the song. And this makes it much easier to play along, as the name suggests, okay? And by this, you will learn the melody, okay? So you will have the melody in your head, and if you can play along to the melody that's in your head, this is much easier to play on an instrument than there as well. I hope this video helps you along a bit, but as I always say at this point, to really learn shakuhachi playing, you do need a teacher, such as myself. So if you're interested in lessons, please get in touch. If you want to see the play along, I'll put it up here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
You do not talk about Fight Club.